All right. So 155, 161. Let's go through those. Who's in group one? Alondra, Gania, Michael, Fowler, and Vanessa. Did y'all get 155?
I think so.
What'd you do?
I followed the, what is it called? The formula. And I just plugged in like the numbers. I put y equals 3x plus 5.
You know what that means? That means you did it right. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
So should that read y equals 3 times 0 plus 5? Already plotted the
So
math.
we don't know what the x is. We want to be able to plug in an x and solve for a y, or vice versa. So these are the two things that should remain variables in an equation, or in a linear equation.
Right on. Cool.
So we know the slope is 3, so things that we're plugging in.
Yeah.
Eraser, come on.
Yeah, we have the slope equals 3, and we have the point, which is 0, 5. We have the equation linear as like y equals mx plus b. We upload just 5 equals 3 times 0 plus b to find b. And b, in the end, we find b equals to 5. And the equation linear, it's y equals 3x plus 5.
Oh, did you do it a little bit differently? I think that's what I'm maybe hearing.
It's just the way, okay, I think it's the same solution.
Yeah, there are a few different ways to do it. This one, I think the way that I would do it personally is probably just plugging in my slope and plugging in the 5 for the b. You can also plug in this point, I think, and it will also give you your slope intercept. But I think you'd have to do more work, and I'm kind of lazy. Questions about this? Do we think we can get something like this? If they give us a slope and an intercept, can we put it straight into slope intercept? So here, I believe they're going to give you a slope and an intercept coming up. I believe they're going to give you a slope and just a point. It's not an intercept. And then we up things and we go to finding a line between 2 points. So that should be what, 155. And if I want to do 161, back to pin, y equals mx plus b, I am still putting it into the slope intercept equation.
Yes.
So I want to keep my y. What is my slope in this one?
Our slope is equals to 0.
Okay. Did y'all put that down? I mean, you can. You certainly can. And we're adding what?
-1.
Yeah, it's a -1. You might just say subtract 1. If you see the negative there, that's fine if you jump to that. That is not what I would put as my solution if I was doing this problem.
But
I
it's
would
a
simplify that a little bit.
Yeah, teacher, in this case, the y equals to -1, and it's horizontal when because the slope it equals to 0.
Exactly, right? This is a 0x. That means we have nothing there. 0 times anything is nothing. So we have just that -1 remaining.
Right.
So if you're looking at this, you might say that looks like y equals a -1. That looks like those horizontal lines that we're doing.
Yes.
So this goes back to what we were learning yesterday. If we don't have a slope, or if there is 0 slope, that is a horizontal line. If we plug it into our equation, you're going to notice like that x is going to disappear. It's going to simplify out. It's probably the better term to use. Our x will simplify out because we're multiplying it by 0. It is no more. So we just get y equals to some sort of number. And that's the thing that we were talking about yesterday, right? When we have a horizontal line, it looks like y equals to some number. If it's a vertical line, it looks like x equals.
Do something.
So this should hopefully reinforce like the stuff that we were talking about yesterday with slopes. And zero slopes and undefined slopes. Questions about this? I can always bring it back until we move on. What was the next one? 163, I believe, was the next one on the list. 163 was the next one. Who is in group 2? Brian, Carson, Fernanda, and Fidel. And the following exercises, find the equation of the line shown in the graph. Write the equation in slope intercept form.
I got this one. First thing I did was find the slope, which is m in y equals mx plus b. So from the first point, which was at 1, -2, it was up 3 over 1. So my slope would be 3 over 1. And then I just repeated that to confirm a few times. Next was looking for b. That was just the y-intercept. So if you go down, that would be -5, which also works in doing the 3 over 1. And then just shove that into mx plus b, which is y equals 3 over 1x. I did plus -5 just so it made sense in my head, but -5 or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm trying to write the word rise over run here. So exactly, that's what he was doing. He was doing 3 rise for every 1 run. So over looking at this thing right in here, try to go on this graph right here. I'm going up 3 over 1. I want to shove this into the equation y equals mx plus b. So I need to find my slope and my intercept, my m and my b. So he did 3 over 1, or which is the same thing as the whole number 3. We can take any whole number, we can divide it by 1. It's going to be itself.
Okay, so in that case, it'd be y equals 3x minus 5 or plus -5.
It's -5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you just tell me where you got the -5 from? For b equals -5?
Right.
It's the
here.
y-intercept.
We're picking out the y-intercept. So the b is just the y coordinate on the y-intercept. If I talk, it's kind of a weird like vocabulary thing too. If I talk about the y-intercept, I'm talking about the point. If I'm talking about b, I'm just talking about the value of the y at that point.
Okay, I see. So b is basically where it touches the y-axis, that number.
Yep. Y-intercept. That's it.
The best way I remembered that was just the first
Okay.
time the line actually touches the y-intercept, and that's the number.
And so
Thank
I didn't
you.
finish this off, but this is my slope is 3x. My b is a -5. So I'm probably not going to do plus or minus. I'm probably just going to write 3x minus 5. Usually if I get like multiple signs, like a minus, I'm going to convert it to a plus. If I get a plus or minus, I'm probably just going to convert it to a minus. Questions about this? If I give you a graph, do you think you can count the slope off the graph? Do you think you can give me that y-intercept off the graph? And then
Yes.
once you pick out these 2 pieces, do you think you can put it together into this equation?
Yes.
All right, that's what we're expecting.
When we do move on to 167, I did have a question about that one because my slope is different somewhat.
Oh, and this is something we can check too. Before I even look at these problems, 163, I guess we already looked at it. 163, is that a positive or negative slope? Just looking at the line.
It's It's a positive slope.
Positive slope. How do you know that? Because the line goes,
It goes up.
Oh,
it goes up left to right. The next one, positive or negative slope.
negative.
Someone said it. Yeah, negative, because it goes down. So doing these things, doing these like visual sort of quick checks could really save you in some points. Okay. Where at next? Who at? Charmaine, Jerry, Jonathan, Kayla. What are we getting for 167? Ooh, we gotta stare at this thing closer.
I can go. I got -4/3 for the slope. Rise is -4, runs 3. And then I got +3 for the B.
Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it went up. It's hard to
I
see
got
on
the
this
same-
little thing. It's
I got
right
the same
there.
thing.
I think it's what, -4 and over 3. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yes.
In this point, we could pick it out. It's to 0.03. And so we're plugging it in. Y equals, could you repeat that one more time?
Y equals -4/3x plus 3.
Okay.
So the question I have with this, so it's a 4/3. Would you turn that into 1 1/3 or just keep it as a sort of fraction?
Oh man, I would do improper fractions any day, every day, or I would do, yeah, improper fractions any day, every day over doing the mixed fractions, because that is not a good notation. I don't know if you're
Got it.
talking about 1 1/3, right?
Yes.
This is really, really deceptive. Like especially when you get into like higher math, because what this actually means is 1 plus 1/3.
I see. Yep.
And when you
I
start
just
writing
didn't know
this
if you
out
wanted
with a
to
bunch
do
of
that.
numbers, what does this really look like? It looks almost like it's multiplication, but it's not. So like
I get you.
when you get, yeah, we really try to stay away from writing things like this. So I would not suggest, don't do this. Like, and if you write things as mixed fractions like that, like I'm probably going to tell you, like, don't do that.
Yep. I wrote
That's
it
going
both
down a
ways because
very
I
bad
didn't
road.
know.
Hey, I have a question. Would it be the same answer if I did y equals 3/4 x minus 3?
Mhm.
You know, like reversing the signs.
So if you do 3/4, so if you do 3/4 versus 4/3, you're doing rise to run. So you're changing your rise in your run when you do that.
Oh, okay. What if I just changed the +4 to +4/3 and then -3? Because like I was doing it the other direction. I did like from 3. I saw that intersection first, so I went down.
If you do a positive 4/3, what does that tell me about the line? Is it going up or down? Is this line going up or down?
It's going down.
Yeah,
So therefore,
that sign on your slope is really important.
okay.
It has to be the same sign. You can maybe like do bigger numbers or something silly. Like -8/6 or something that's an equivalent fraction, right?
Mhm.
But even that, like, I don't want that. I want the reduced.
Okay.
Any more questions on this one?
Yes, please. Here, teacher, the b equals to 3 or equals to -3?
The
It's equals to
y-intercept,
3.
yeah, the y-intercept should be +3.
Yes, it's the equation. It's like y equals -4/3x plus 3, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Because with the other student, she said b equals to -3, and then I was
No.
confused. Perfect. Thank you.
B should be positive here. Yeah. And that's the other thing, right? If I wrote a -3, that would mean my line was going through like down there, right?
Yeah.
So you got to make sure your signs are correct.
Yeah, because
And we're-
if I 3, I'm not sure if it's correct. Yeah, thank you.
And 169, I think this is, oh man, this is too easy. Who don't want to call? Anthony, Diana, Michael, Lima, and never mind. That's it.
Zero slope. M equals 0. 'Cause it's
Okay.
a horizontal line, so
Are y'all gonna really try to put it in y equals mx plus b? I mean, you can.
you,
I can see.
well, the 0 is it's y equals 0 plus b, and the b. Let me go back to the problem.
Really, like if y'all did this is okay. Like on this one, like I feel like you could just maybe jump there. Maybe I'm being a little optimistic. What's the equation?
The whole steps and the 7 over 0 and the pizza over people, but essentially just looking at it, the horizontal line, just m equals 0.
So y is going to be equal to
To 0.
what?
Why?
No, y equals
Y equals 2.
-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So you could throw in the 0, right? We have the point 0 minus 2 if you wanted to do it the old-fashioned way that we're doing those other ones. But really, we know 0x ain't doing nothing. It's going to make that x disappear. We should end up getting just the y equals the -2, which should be the horizontal line, right?
You mean here, teacher, y equals to -2?
Mhm.
Okay, because I'm just right now on a Zoom. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
It should match up with the horizontal lines we were doing last time.
Okay, thank you, because I can
If you
see.
want to throw in the 0x, it's all right. But if you can jump straight to that y equals the -2, that's fine as well for me.
In this case, we can just say equal y, like it's horizontal with y equals to -2, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that particular equation, it was actually harder to write all that out than it was to just know that it was -2.
Yeah, it might be. You get to like indeterminate slopes or undefined slopes. Then this will be a hard step, or even harder probably. Questions over those 5 we just ran through right quick? All right, I think we got 5 more. Ooh, let me put them up in the chat. Where's my chat? Oh, what were the next 5? They were on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 169 was the last one, so 171. I want to do the next 5. I think are pretty good. 173. 177, and what is that? 180. What is that number? 181 and 183. All right. And I think that takes us through 2 more sections, if I recall right.
Or for 171, do we use a formula?
What does it say? In the following exercises, find the equation of line given a slope containing the given point. Write equation in slope intercept form. So you should end up. Oh, let me clear this. So you should end up in the slope intercept form. And I talked about the 2 different forms earlier, y equals mx plus b. I'm squeezing it down here. So we should end up, this is the end goal. If we look at this, are we going to be able to plug that directly into that equation?
We need to find what the y is.
Do we have a slope and do we have an intercept? Should be the questions.
Yes.
What's our intercept?
8, 3, or y, the 3 is the y-intercept.
Is it?
It's 5
No.
over 8.
Yeah, see, 8, 3 is not an intercept. If it was 0, 3, that would be an intercept. That's just a point. So what do we have to do? There's
Oh,
going to
but-
be what was that?
No, sorry. I was just agreeing. Yes.
Oh, yeah. What do we have to do? There's another guy we can talk about, right? This is the other equation. So you might have to use that thing. You might have to do the dreaded word algebra to get it to go that way. So I think we did stuff like this in that like first two chapters or whatever, where we solved for stuff for y, we solved for a single variable. That was setting us up for like this stuff. So we want to take this, plug it into probably point slope, and do some algebra to get it into slope intercept.
So are we using both formulas in this case or just one?
You're gonna end up plugging stuff into this, and it should end up looking like that. So I think this is the one that you're actually, this first one is the one that you'll use, and this is gonna be like the end goal.
Okay.
So I think you're not plugging it into both of them, if that was what the question was. You should only be plugging it into one of them. And part of that was we can't plug it into this one because this is not an intercept. So in order to plug directly into y equals mx plus b, we have to be given that really specific point of an intercept. Like if that was zero, if that was like 0, 3, right? That would be like really easy. We could just go directly to that. Y equals 5/8 plus 5/8 x plus 3. That's not what this question is. It's a little bit more complicated.
Excuse me, teacher, we are doing 171, right? 171.
Yeah, so that should be in the chat. It is what 171, 173, 177 is also in there. Then 181. Oh, that's also, and then 183 I want to look at. So 183, I think actually starts you in the next section. That would be, I'm gonna let y'all try that on your own. I think I'm gonna get y'all to groups. If there's no questions of the stuff I worked previously, I'm gonna break y'all out into the same groups. Give y'all a few minutes on these, bring y'all back. All right. Try these out. We'll work them together in a minute. Did y'all get this one?
It's which one is it?
171.
Okay, y minus 3 equals 5/8 times x minus 8.
Woo! You know what that is? That's it. All right, so we plug into this. And then our goal is to do what?
Get it in slope intercept form.
Which I could also say solve for.
Y.
Yeah, it's the same thing as solving for y. So if we're solving this thing for y, to put it in slope intercept, what's hopefully the first thing you did there?
I got 5/8 x minus 5.
Mm-hmm. So you have to do some distribution. So this is going back to the first week that we were in class. Can we multiply fractions through parentheses, basically, right? Can we multiply that 5/8 to the x? We multiply 5/8 times 8. I think that gives us just a 5 on top. 5/8 times 8/1, if you got to do your over ones.
And then I got y equals 5/8 x minus 2.
Because we got to, the next thing to solve for y is to get rid of that 3 that's there.
So you add it to both sides.
Mm-hmm. And we get 5/8 x. This is getting a little blurry in here. Minus 2. Is that right? Yeah, minus 5 plus 3. And then what'd you do?
And then I checked it.
All right. Yeah, that's it. How'd you check it? You went and plugged 8 and 3 back in? Made sure it was a solution?
Mhm.
That's a good
Yeah.
way to check it. Questions about this? So I think there's basically like 3 ways that we're going to get to an equation. It's like if they give us the slope and the intercept, which we start off with, we can go straight to the slope intercept, right? If they don't give us that intercept, if they give us any other point that's not an intercept, we have to do point slope.
Exactly.
So we're plugging it into this thing. We're doing algebra to get to there, right?
Yeah.
That's the basic strategy of like all these pretty much. Until we get to doing things with just 2 points. Questions on this? All right. The next one was, what was the next problem? 173.
Yes.
M is -3/5. And 10 minus 5 is the point that they're giving us. So we're asking ourselves, what did they give us? They gave us what? A slope and a point. Oh man, those are the silliest named equations, I feel like. We get a point and we get a slope. We can put it into point slope. All right, so where were we at? Group, I think 6 now. Josh, Kathleen, and Leslie. If I go plugging this thing into an equation, what should that equation look like?
I think I did y minus -5 equals -3/5 times x minus 10.
And I didn't do it in the last one, but if you have to put x1, y1 to remind you that that's x1 and that's y1. This is the equation y minus y1 equals what? M times x minus x1. My x is getting a little. Okay. And then this is sort of like those problems we were doing that first week. I hope. Hope it looks a little familiar. So what's the first thing? Probably getting rid of that I can't speak. The double negative is probably the first thing you're getting rid of, right? Did we get this?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that turns into y plus 5. And then on the other side, it's -3/5 x plus 6 because you distribute.
And if you gotta do a little side work, maybe like 3/5 times what, 10?
Yeah.
They're both negative, so I think this is overall going to become positive. And you do like what, 2 and 1. So if you gotta do a little side work, that's fine. And what do you say, plus 6?
Yeah, it comes out to +6. Then you have to subtract 5 from both sides.
Yep. And we're almost there.
And it gives you negative 3/5 x plus 1.
Looks like it. Are there questions about this one? I feel like we're increasing in difficulty though, right? Giving a slope and an intercept should be like the easiest thing from this picture. Hello. And then when we give a point and a slope, I just want to like, if I just like shout Alexa, does everyone's like devices like pick up? Mine does. Dang it. Backfired on me. Okay. Questions about this one? Sorry, I get on my tangents sometimes.
For example, in this equation, I just did like the y equals mx plus b, and then I upload everything there to find the end of.
I'm not sure I'm hearing like what the question is.
It's not the question. It's just my method. I did just by. I placed them in the equation like y equals mx plus b, and then because I have the slope, I have the point, and then I find the b, and directly we put my equation.
Oh, you're doing it a different way. I think I know what you're saying.
Yes.
So if we do y equals mx plus b,
Yeah.
I think there is another way you could probably do it to find the slope and to find the intercept.
Yes.
Some people do it that way. That is a different way to do it.
But
So
it's
you're
the same solution.
starting out with this. Yeah, as long as you're getting the same solution, it should be all right. So if we plug in our y and our x, I believe we plug in our y to be this. We know our slope is minus 3/5.
Yeah.
And our x is
Times
what,
10 times 10 plus
plus
b.
b. And so that plugs in every variable except for my b. So if you want to
Yes.
solve for b, you're going to end up getting b is equal to 1.
Minus 5 plus 6.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip a little bit of work in here.
Yeah, no problem.
But you end up getting b equals 1, and then we go plug that back in.
Yes.
So there is another way to get your intercept. There are multiple ways to work these problems. So if you're working it that way, that's absolutely fine.
Perfect. Thank you.
If you know what you're doing, you can plug it in.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
That is a legitimate way to work it. Any other questions on this one? Okay, I think we're back to group 1. Alondra Agania, Michael Fowler, and Vanessa. And we are on problem 177. So 177 looks like m is a -7. And the point is -1, -3. And so how do I want to do this?
I don't know if someone in my team needs to do it or I will do it.
Alondra, Michael, Vanessa, one of y'all get this?
I did.
So what do you do?
I just did the formula, which is y negative minus -3. And then I put equals -7, and then parentheses x minus -1.
Okay. So that's a lot of negatives in it. I'm guessing that's probably the first thing you took care of, huh?
Yes, I turned those two into positives.
Yeah, so I get something like y is a +3. Hopefully that one stayed. And this one becomes a +1.
And then I subtracted 3 on both sides.
At this point, or did you do something else?
Oh no, I multiplied 7 with x and then 7 with 1.
Yeah, I figured you did that distribution first, right? Minus 7x minus 7. And then now we do the thing you said, right? Minus 3.
Yes.
All right, so minus 3 from both sides.
And then the one was y equals negative 7x minus 10.
Sometimes I feel like I'm drawing on an etch a sketch or something. It's like does not like to do curves. Sometimes. Is that in y equals mx plus b? I know I'm giving you the ring the run
Yes,
around,
because
right?
b equals to
Yeah.
minus 10.
That is it, right? My m is minus. That's the other thing, right? I think that's. I don't know if we're doing.
Yes.
We might be doing that next section. I might be wrong, but I think
No,
I
you
thought
got
we
the-
did it in this section, right? Where if I give you this equation, you can pick out the slope and you can pick out the intercept.
Yes, directly. We need just to upload them in the equation to find
Right.
b.
So if they ask us for like the y-intercept from this equation, we should be able to like pick it out of there. You should be able to go both ways, is what I'm trying to say, right? We should be able to, given a slope, given an intercept, you should be able to give me an equation. Vice
Yeah.
versa, if I give you this equation, you should be able to tell me that the slope is minus 7 and the intercept is 0 minus 10.
Yes.
Questions? Should we go on to the next one, which is, what is it, 181?
Excuse me, teacher. The solution for this one is minus 7x minus 10, right?
Yeah, y equals minus 7x minus 10.
Minus 10.
Yeah,
Perfect.
make sure that equation that y equals is there first.
Yes, it's y.
Yeah.
Y equals minus 10. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. 181, I believe, was the next one. And then we get into, oh man, this one's too quick. 181, we have a horizontal line.
It's for the minus 7.
Horizontal, and it is containing minus 1, minus 7.
Yes.
All right, so I'm thinking in my brain, horizontal are the lines that run that way. What do those look like? Or how'd y'all do this? I should ask y'all how y'all did this.
In this case, our slope is equals to 0.
Mhm.
And then for the b, it's equals to minus 7, and y equals to minus 7.
Yeah, so let's say maybe this is my x, this is my y. I know the point, what, minus 1, minus 7 is a point.
Right.
So there are a few ways you can do it. I'm really hoping that like we can just get to that point to where we're jumping and like asking ourselves, is this going to be an x equals or is this going to be a y equals?
It's going to be y equals.
It's going to be a y equals
because it's horizontal.
because it's horizontal. And now I want to know y is equal to what?
To minus 7.
It's right there in that equation. So like if you get these on a test, I hope you're like rejoicing. It's like these are so quick. If it's horizontal, it's the y equals, and it's the y equals the value that's right there.
But teacher, I have question there, but how we can write as an equation?
Y equals minus 7 should be the equation. So maybe there's like a question of you're looking for things to be in mx plus b form. And technically, that is that form. It's got a few things that are missing a little bit because we have a 0 slope.
Yes.
But when we clean it up, it absolutely looks like this. That is in y-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
The other one, right? If this said something else, what else could it say? Vertical, I guess.
It's vertical. It's the opposite.
Yeah, if we do vertical, right?
The x equals to 7.
Ooh, x is equal to what?
No, sorry. The x equals to 1.
Yeah, -1. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
That is not what the problem asks. And there is no way to put that in slope intercept form
Yes.
because we're not ever going to have a y equals when it's a vertical line. But those are the two equations. If it's vertical, it should look like x equals. If it's horizontal, it should look like y equals. If I'm being honest, I probably got to draw the graph right quick in my brain before I put it on there. But I can get there. If you got to draw middle graphs to get it or something, that's fine. I'm hoping these two like special cases, we get these down pretty quick. There was like one more. It is a bit different. It's a bit more work. I think we're getting to the pinnacle of this sort of section and how much work we got to do. But 183. So now we're doing between 2 points. We want to find the line. So I think I talked about it earlier, but it takes 2 points to define a line. Previously, we had a slope and a point. Now we have 2 points. So what did we have before that we don't have now?
The slope.
Yeah, we're missing, what was that again?
Now we're missing the slope. because
Now
we
we're
have-
missing the slope. So we know we have a slope intercept equation. We know we have a point slope equation. Both of those equations have a slope. They have the word slope in them. They also have a slope in the equation. So guess what we're gonna have to find if we don't have it?
Slope.
Woo, man, y'all are catching this pretty quick. All right. How do we find slope between 2 points?
Qy minus y, or y2 minus y1.
What? Oh yeah,
Over.
yeah. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. That's it. Rise over run. Okay. Who was that? Jerry? You want to finish this off? How do I find that slope?
Yeah, the way I did it, I did 3 minus 6 over 5 minus 2.
Mhm.
And then I got my slope equal to -1.
3 minus 6 is going to be a -3. 5 minus 2 is a +3. So all in all, we're getting our slope to be -1.
Minus 1.
And then we use the second formula.
Yep, I have m equals a -1. I have this point and I have this point. So let me erase this and like write it like real quick. And now I know my m is equal to -1. So I think we're doing the same thing we were doing, right? With y minus y1. We're going back, we're plugging it into this thing.
Am I still doing this part?
So what'd you sub in? Y minus?
I did a y minus 6 equals -1 parentheses x minus 2.
Okay. So you did
And-
this one as x1, y1. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, because
Yeah, you just kept it consistent with your slope. That's good. And I'm gonna go a little quick, maybe. We're gonna have to what? Distribute the one?
Yeah.
Minus x plus 2. You'd pick
And then-
that point. What about this point? What if I made this my x1, y1? Would I get the same answer?
you should.
Yes.
Should, right?
Yeah.
So if y'all want to check that out, if you want to plug in those other numbers, make sure you're getting the same solution. If you want to be a brave soul and do that. If not, we're almost done here. This is minus x, and I think we got it. The last step is what? Add that 6 over.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So hopefully, what is that? A minus x plus 8.
It's 96%.
So if they're giving you 2 points, you do have a little bit of an option of which point you want to plug into that equation. Either way, and it might be a good way to check it, right? Make sure you got your slope correct. Plug both of them in, make sure you get the right equation. If you're like totally unsure of yourself. There are both points on the line. They should both solve it. That's another way we can check it, right? We can plug in what, 3 and 5. Three and 5. I'm just going to write it over there. It's kind of nasty looking. We could do that, right? That should check. Same thing with 2 and 6. We can always go plug them back in, make sure those points solve our equation. Any questions on this? This is leading up to those next few ones we got to do. So I think I gave a good introduction to this. It is probably one of the hardest parts of this section. Okay, so which one we were at? Ending in, we don't have too much more time. I think we're going to do the next 3, and then I'll bring y'all back. So we should be at, where am I? Wrong screen, wrong screen. I'll find it eventually. 183 was the last one, and so let's go
187.
the next 3, 187, 191, 193, I think. Let me send that and open up the breakout rooms for a few minutes. I think we're going to go 5 minutes, probably something like that. $195, $197. Is there anything really weird?
Still recording.
Let me re-record this. Questions about this, about those next 2? I really want to get to something parallel and perpendicular. So something like 195. So 195 says, in the following exercises, find an equation of a line parallel. And they give us this line.
Excuse me, teacher, before, can you tell me the answer for the 187? Is it y equals 2x minus 10? Please.
That was the previous one we did, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Just we did right now for
Yeah, it should be
187.
2x plus 5.
It's not minus 10. Okay, I will. Okay, thank you.
I do it 4, and this is what x plus 2. And the point that they give me is 1, 2. And so I want to do parallel. And so I want to know, what is the slope of this line?
4.
The slope of this line is 4. And if I want a line that is parallel to this line,
It'd be the same slope.
it is the same slope. So here I should probably give me the m equals 4.
So are we going to have to graph the parallel line as well?
Here, are they asking for a graph, right? The equation, they don't ask for a graph in this one. I don't think they ask for a graph in any of the problems in this section.
No.
So,
You
but
might-
how do you know something is parallel then is my question. Without even looking at a graph, how are you going to know it's parallel?
We know it's parallel because it has the same slope. Symbolically, that's how we determine whether something's parallel.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Graphically, yeah. And if you want to graph these things, it may not be a bad idea. You don't have to do it by hand necessarily either. They have, software out there. Desmos. Do y'all know about Desmos? I'll put it in the chat. But Desmos is a really beautiful graphing, really easy to put stuff into. I highly suggest it. All right, so we want to do this. And I have a point and I have a slope. Guess what equation I'm going to plug it into?
I think it's a linear equation.
The point slope.
Yeah, point slope. Yeah.
That's it. So y minus y1 equals m times x.
What? Can
minus
you use
x.
y? We've got it in the form of y equal mx plus b right now, right?
This
at
is
the
the
top.
first line. Right? This is the first line. Now we want to do
Right.
the second. This is a completely different line.
Okay, it's the second one you're working on now. Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is like the first line. I guess this is part of the second line, this parallel.
Even see it's
And so now we're doing y minus, ooh, this is actually part of the second line too, sorry. That is the first line. Now we're doing a completely separate line. It's got a slope of 4 and we know it has a point of 1, 2. So now we're plugging this stuff in, and I think I already said it, point slope form. So y minus 2 is what? Equal to 4 is our slope, x minus 1. And now this should look almost exactly like all those problems we were doing previously in this homework, probably. We got to do a little bit of distribution. We got to add the thing to the other side, but we should end up getting something in slope intercept. But this is my parallel line right there. That's the equation for it. If they didn't ask for it in slope intercept, technically that would be it.
You mean technically this one is the solution, right?
We should solve it for slope intercept. So if we solve it, we have to do some distribution. I'm about to clear some stuff from the top. And then we add the 2 overs that we're doing, 4x minus 2 when we add 2. And so now we're in slope intercept. That's it. That's the end goal. Parallel lines, I feel like people get parallel lines a little bit better than maybe they do the perpendicular. So I want to go over like one perpendicular example right quick. I know we're after time. So if you have to burn out, that's fine. I'll record this. It will be up. It is recording. Which one do we have that is perpendicular? 209? Let's do 209. That's the last problem. They give us the line 2x plus 5y. That is horribly drawn 5. Is equal to 6. And they give us the point, what, 0, 0. All right, so this is the line we want to be perpendicular to. So what are we picking out of this line?
Y. We need first to find y in this equation, teacher, right?
I think so. But why are we doing that? To find what?
To find y, the equation linear, the slope, the point slope.
I heard the word slope, right? We want to find slope from this equation. This is not set up pretty to find slope. So if they give me an equation like this, I might have to do the thing like Gani was saying, solve for
move
my
things
y.
around.
Yeah.
Because to confirm this equation, if it's perpendicular or not, we need to find like the y intercept x, and then to find the y, and then to do the next steps, which is the perpendicular, right?
Plus, yeah, 6/5. So this is the same line. This is the first line. I have not talked about my perpendicular line yet.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's good. Like, I'm just trying to make sure. You're telling me absolutely correct. I want to put it in this y equals mx plus b form because I want to pick out what from it.
The slope.
The slope.
The slope.
And I know
yes.
the slope with this guy is
3 over, no,
is
Negative
minus
2 over 5.
yeah, it's minus 2 over 5.
over 5.
And so if I want a perpendicular,
It's minus 5 over 2.
I flip it to 5 over 2. And is it-
Without minus, right?
Yeah, the negative is a double negative now, so this should be
Okay.
plus. Should be positive.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to, this is my first line. So I'm going to get it out of the way. This is my first line. This was my first line. And I did all of that just to get the slope. This was the thing I was really interested in. This is coming from my first line. Now, I want to do my second line. I know my second line has this slope, and I know it goes through that point. Can we finish this thing off?
Yeah.
And how? I got a point and I got a slope. Guess where
Yes,
I'm putting, guess where I'm putting this thing into? You are gonna get so tired of that question.
Like it's the same thing, teacher. I think we need just to we have the slope, we have the point. We need to find the b, the new equation with the perpendicular stuff.
You can actually go straight to slope intercept on this one, I think, right? Since it's 0, 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. But suppose it wasn't just a nice 0, 0, we would have to do a little bit of work. We have the point, we have the slope. I'm hoping we can go to point slope form. Y minus 0, I think this is gonna give me y. X minus 0 is just gonna give me x. So I think this is just y equals 5/2 x.
Yes.
That one cleaned up kind of quick just because we had zeros.
What was the answer on that one again? I can't read your handwriting.
Y
Y
equals
equals.
5/2 x.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I see. The 2
5
is just
over
in the
2.
way.
Any questions about anything? We are way over time. But we
So,
got some good examples in.
I'm confused on how to do 197.
All right, what is 197?
It was similar to this one, except we
Parallel?
needed to find a parallel to it.
All right, let's do that one.
Uh,
2x minus y equals 6. And we know it goes to the point 3, 0. And this is parallel. I don't know if you know parallels, those two little lines that are parallel. Perpendicular would be those two little lines that are perpendicular. Those are literally the signs they use in math for those things.
The reason I'm confused is whenever I went through, I ended up getting y equals 2x minus 6. And whenever I plugged in the 3, 0 to that,
Okay, so when we move that
I ended
2
up getting
over,
the same equation.
when we move the 2 over, it becomes minus 2x plus 6. And then when we take care of the negative, it becomes a positive 2x and minus 6 that we said.
Yeah,
And so we're grabbing this slope. This is the slope that we want.
right.
So I have a slope of 2 and I have a point of 3, 0. And so we're plugging that in. And so what was your question?
So after you go through this, what you're doing right now, I got y equals 2x minus 6, which is the same line I started with. So technically these would be the same line. And they'd both go through 3, 0. So would they be parallel or would they just be the same line?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think technically a line is parallel to itself within math.
Okay, so I can just put,
Yeah, it's
It
weird
just
that they
didn't
give you the
feel right,
same
that's why I
line
had a
because technically, usually we make a distinction whether they are different lines or not,
right,
especially when we get to solutions. I would not, yeah, I would not like probably give you that problem just because it's really conflating the idea of what a parallel is.
yeah, I just felt weird answering that. I wanted to make sure I was doing it right.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't even
but I
notice it
could
was-
just put y equals 2x minus 6, and that would be correct.
That's it. Yeah, it's the same line.
Okay. I
That
don't have
line
to
goes
write
through that
like
point. So if we
10
plug
y or
in,
something like that.
yeah, if we plug in that point to that line, we can see that it's a solution to that line. And so if you have a line that is parallel to a line and it goes through one of the same points as that line, it's going to be the same line. Right? Does that make sense? If we think about
Yeah.
things graphically, it might it might look a little better. I have a line and I'm like, here's this line. And then I give you a point here. It's like on the line. It's like find me a line that's parallel to that line that also goes to that point. The only line is going to be that same line. But again, and this goes back to like what Charmaine was saying. We know that these two are parallel because their slopes are equal.
Right.
Yeah.
If two things have different slopes and they start out at different points, they're never going to touch, right? Like your little sister in the back of the car. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you, right? Okay.
Yeah, it just feels wrong because these are constant.
It's like 6 feet.
Yeah. We're establishing some distant rules for our lines.
Okay, thank you so much, teacher. And
Sure.
thanks. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I
and
hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Y'all got questions? I'm still here.
Bye, have a good weekend.
Yeah, if
Have a
you
good one.
do it tonight or tomorrow.
Corrections for 3-1 are due tonight.
Yeah.
3-2 homework is due tonight.
I did have a question. I'm having trouble finding the corresponding questions for the Marecek in the answer key. It's just like all numbered oddly. I know at the top it says that they start on page 1249, but I just don't quite understand it. Like I go to 1249 and try to align it with the section in the chapter. Have you guys taken a look at it? I mean, it would just be helpful to know while I'm in that mindset, like, yes, you did it. You got the right answer. No, you didn't. Try again, as opposed to, you know, going back the following day and had a whole bunch of new stuff packed in from lecture.
Oh, not bad. Where are you going to access the Marecek? Because there's a few different ones. Are you doing?
So there's the full book with the chapters and everything, and then there's the which I've tried both. There's the one link in Blackboard that says specifically Marecek problems and solutions only.
Are y'all seeing my screen? I guess my screen.
So the download PDF is the full book. And I imagine that on both of them, it would start on 1249 at the upper right-hand corner of the PDF file.
So when you go to the key, I don't know, 180 something there. It should say like answer key in the top. And it's sorted by chapter.
Let me.
So if I want to find this chapter, this looks like I'm away in chapter 9. Now let's go to like 150 or something. Where are we at? Answers will vary. This looks like chapter 6 stuff. We are in chapter what? 3-2, 3-3.
3-3.
Those are section exercises. Uh,
I'm trying to, like, would it be the same in the answer key? Would it appear as the same, like, exercises that we did today, like 155, 161, 163?
yeah, they should come up in here somewhere.
160.
Section, it's not the section exercises, I don't think. Although I could be wrong. This looks like chapter 3 stuff. This is the chapter 3.
Yeah, I did locate it on the textbook, the full textbook, and it's easier to get to it because you can open up that sidebar, and I just saw that, and there's you can just click on each chapter and then go by section, and then at the very bottom takes you straight to the solutions. So never mind, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm actually comparing the answers from today's work, so thank you.
All right, sure.
All right.
Anybody else need anything? Okay. Gina, coming in. What are you doing?